Welcome back to another video as we take a look at the Anna May Wong quarter from 2022. Once again, this is our schedule. Hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, we have the Patsy Takemoto Mink quarter unboxing next Monday. If not, it'll be the Bessie Coleman quarter next Monday, and then the Patsy Takemoto Mink unboxing will be April 15th. The other things I'd like to point out is that our next actual unboxing after that will hopefully be June 10th when the Dr. Mary Edwards Walker quarter is released. We will finish up our backlog of quarters on May 20th with the Reverend Dr. Pauli Murray quarter, which was the first quarter released in 2024. And then we will do an unboxing of the Harriet Tubman $1 commemorative proof coin on May 27th. Anyhow, let's talk about Anna May Wong. She was born Wong Lu Song in Los Angeles on January 3rd, 1905. She became the first Chinese-American film star in Hollywood, starring as an extra in the 1919 movie The Red Lantern. She was 14, and then she received her first leading role in Toll of the Sea in 2022, which would have made her 17 or 18. Over her career, she appeared in over 60 films. I think I looked on IMDb, and we will take a look at her IMDb in a minute. I think she had 66 credits in acting credits to her name. IMDb encompasses other things, but I believe it was 66 acting credits. Her credits encompassed silent movies, Technicolor films, and roles across motion pictures, television, and theater. Notably, she became the first Asian American lead actor in a U.S. TV show called The Gallery of Madame Lu Song in 1951. After facing a lot of racial discrimination, she left Hollywood and went over to Europe and performed in stage productions in London. And she also did stage productions in New York. But doing that, she showcased her versatility and resilience. She was an international film star and a fashion icon who broke barriers for Asian Americans in entertainment. Her style and presence on screen challenged stereotypes and opened doors for future generations. She was given a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960. She passed away on February 3rd, 1961, but remains celebrated for her contributions to film and her role in advancing representation for Asian Americans. Once again, she was born in 1905, died in 1961, the first Chinese American film star in Hollywood is her biggest claim to fame, the reason that she is part of the Women's Quarter, the main reason she is part of the Women's Quarters program, because it seems like it's all about firsts with this program. I mean, she did other things. Once again, she's credited with advancing the treatment and careers of Asian American film stars in Hollywood. Anyhow, let's take a quick look at her IMDb. Here we are on her IMDb page, and I just wanted to scroll down. It just gives the basic, the 4 things she's best known for. But her actress credits total 66, and I love IMDb. If you've never checked out the IMDb website, if there's anything, if you're thinking, oh, what was that show that Ryan Reynolds was in, or what was that show that Barbara Stanwyck was in, you just you search their names on IMDb, and it will pop up them. It'll give you their filmography. If you type in a movie, who was on the TV show Friends? You type in Friends and you click it, and it'll show you who the characters were, who they were played by, etc. It's just, I've been using IMDb since it came out. That must have been 15 years ago. But as you can see, I digressed, I'm sorry. She was in a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. In the 40 plus years, 1920, when was her last acting credit? 1961. So in 41 years, she was in 66 movies. That doesn't count any stage productions or whatever. Then it goes on to show you on IMDb. She was a dialogue coach. In City Butterfly, she sang a song. This is why I love IMDb, because it tells you what their other, if they had any producer credits or director credits, or if they sang. So, for example, Hugh Jackman, Phil Collins have both starred in movies and have also performed. They've both sung in movies. I mean, there were a bunch of other people. That was just two that popped into my head. So they would have soundtrack credits. She was 5'6.5". She was born in Los Angeles. She died in Santa Monica. It tells you her parents, tells you her brothers or sisters. Sometimes it may tell you who their husband was or who their wife is or whatever. But yeah, this is the IMDb listing for Anna May Wong. And I just thought it was important. I hadn't really heard of her, but looking at this listing, I guarantee you that at some point I've seen some black and white movie from the 40s or 50s or 30s on a Saturday afternoon or late night Saturday. And I guarantee you that I've seen something that she's been in. I have seen her perform. I don't want to click on this because I may get in trouble for copyright. But here you could click and you could see an excerpt from something that she was in. Anyhow, that's her IMDb. Let's hop back to the computer. Before we actually take a look at her quarter, let's take a look at the obverse side of the quarter. We do this, I mention this every video because it's important. If nobody else has seen any of the other videos, they don't understand. I just want to let them know that the design was changed. The design was changed in 2022 for the obverse, the front, the head of the quarter, so that George Washington has a different look, and he's also facing towards the right direction. And by right, I don't mean correct. I mean right as in left and right. This design was originally submitted in 1932 by Laura Garden Fraser. In 1932 is when they came out with the Washington quarter, and the idea was it was his 200th birthday, and they were going to change the look of the quarter that we were using. And so they decided on George Washington, and they put it out there for people to give them submissions for design ideas. Ultimately, in 1932, they chose to go with the design by John Flanagan, which is the quarter that all the way up until 2022 that we were used to seeing, with George Washington facing left, the style that we've all had in our pocket for years. And now looking at the design of Anna May Wong's quarter, you can see the dimpled area. I guess it's not dimpled, it's stuck out. I can't think of the term I want to use for that. And they represent the marquee lights of Hollywood. Also, once again, E pluribus unum on the back of all the money. Out of many, one. United States of America at the top. The image of Anna May Wong resting her chin on her hand. This quarter was designed by Emily Damstra. And the mold for the dies, I don't know if it's called a mold. The original sculpting that the dies are engraved with or carved with was done by John P. McGraw. And so now that we've looked at the illustration, and I do this because I think it's easier to see the features on the illustration without having to worry about how the light is reflecting off of the actual physical quarter, but we're going to jump to the physical quarter now. And I've come up with a new concept, and it may help us. I have a coin microscope that will allow me to focus back to raise the level so that it gets a better look at the entire quarter and not just focused on parts of the quarter. So I've raised it to a higher height so that we can look at the whole quarter, and I'm hoping that maybe this way we can deal with the lighting and the focus issues that I seem to have with a phone. So anyhow, let's jump over to the microscope. Here is our Anna May Wong quarter. And as you can see, because of lighting and glare, I need to figure this out. I know that, but it's just easier to look at the illustration to see everything than it is the quarter. However, I really like this design. I like the way the field area where the face is kind of set inward. It reminds me of, in the 70s and 80s, the big architectural feature in houses was you'd have a sunken living room. So you'd come in the front door, and then as you headed to wherever the living room was in the house, there'd be like a step or two down into the living room area, and that was referred to as a sunken living room, a sunken family room, a sunken den. It was just the style. I remember friends of ours built a house in the early 80s, and their living room was sunken. So that's just kind of what this quarter reminds me of, the way it's inset from the thick area around the rim. The dimpled spotlights that represent the marquee, e pluribus unum, $quarter. I think this is actually a very striking, a very handsome quarter. And it's one of my favorite as far as design goes that I've seen so far. So I just thought we'd take a look. Let's jump back to the computer real quick. And just coming back to this calendar real quick once again, I want to remind you all that next week, hopefully we have the Patsy Takemoto Mink unboxing. If not, if the quarter doesn't arrive in time, we will have the Patsy Takemoto Mink unboxing on the 15th and the Bessie Coleman quarter discussion on the 8th. On the 27th, we will have a Harriet Tubman $1 commemorative proof unboxing. Hopefully June 10th, we have the Dr. Mary Edwards Walker unboxing. That quarter usually comes out the week of the 7th. If it comes out early that week, then we may have it in time. If it doesn't come out early that week, then this unboxing may have to be put off till June 17th, and we will do something else on the 10th. And May 20th, when we do the Reverend Dr. Polly Murray quarter, we will be caught up with all of the 2022, 2023, and the 2024 quarter that has been released so far. And we will be right on track. Anyhow, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And as usual, I hope you all have a great week.